the reason for many human rights violations is actually because of animal rights violations. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about human rights violations for a change, because it's often the case that pre-vegans will try and get me to acknowledge that human rights is also a big thing in the world and that we should be focusing on that too. In fact, their idea is that we should really focus on solving human rights issues before we start focusing on animal rights issues. There are a ballpark figure of about 30 million people who die on a yearly basis from starvation. These people need not die at all. We grow so much food that we could feed way in excess of 7 billion people. This is a fact. But the reason why that food is not available to humans is because the vast majority of it actually goes quite wastefully towards feeding animals. So 82% of children who are starving in this world are living in countries where plant produce is grown and fed to animals who are then slaughtered and sent over to Western Europe and into West or into the US as a flesh produce for Westerners to eat, while the natives are going hungry. This is a huge example of a human rights violation to me. Everybody who's working in this industry is suffering, really, because it's a very traumatic, very stressful and anxiety-full occupation to be working with these animals and to be abusing these animals, because I think that it has to be acknowledged that there is abuse going on in these places, especially the people in abattoirs. Nobody comes home from a day of working at an abattoir and thinks, I had a great day today, I really enjoyed my work, it was fun, because it creates in people PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. This is something which is really unavoidable accompaniment of that trade. You can't really avoid it. It's like being sent out to war. You're going to get PTSD if you're going to be witnessing people being killed or animals being killed. If you're going to see blood every day, you're going to get PTSD. So these people are coming home, and it's often the case also that in homes where somebody is working within that industry, that there's increased cases of domestic violence. This is unavoidable, really, because once you're faced with that every day, it starts to change you mentally, so that you start behaving more indifferent and callous towards humans, the same as you've been doing to animals all day. Abattoirs and intensive animal rearing institutes are in most cases situated in poorer areas where blacks or Hispanics are present, never in rich white neighborhoods. And the reason for this is because these institutes, these buildings, they put out this terrible stench which travels for kilometers and makes everybody feel uncomfortable. And anybody living within the vicinity of these areas will have to face this abuse daily of this stink that's coming at them. So I think clearly this is another example of a human rights violation, because nobody should have to live under such circumstances. They say that the amount of people who die from cardiovascular disease is the equivalent of 4 jumbo jets crashing every single hour, every single day, every single year. If this is not an example of a human rights violation, what is this? Because this is completely unnecessary, and it's intricately entwined with the fact that we're abusing animals. By abusing these animals, we're also abusing ourselves. We're causing damage to the environment. We're causing damage to human health, to human mentality, and to sort of deny this and say, oh, we need to look at human rights issue first, is really showing a tremendous amount of ignorance. if we're going to solve these problems, we have to address all examples of social injustice. We still have to eat while we're solving human rights injustices, don't we? So we may as well be eating plant-based food while we're sorting out human injustices. It doesn't make any sense to say we have to sort out human-based injustices first, so I'm going to keep on being cruel and keep on abusing animals. That doesn't make any sense.